Hello guys, be here with lalalandcrafts, and today we're going to be making a super fun card. The products from the shop that we're going to be using are from the March release and others from older releases. This one is the hamburger die, French fry die, the milkshake die. Then we're gonna use from older release the canopy die, window die, and we're gonna do a little modification to these, nothing too big. And then we're gonna be using also the truck die. Love this little truck. Of course, we're going to be using the scallop sentiment labels die. We're going to also use these two stencils from this stencil that is on the wall layering stencil set. We're going to be using the stone stencil, and from this stencil that is the celebration layering stencil set, we're going to be using this stars. And we're gonna also be using the two stamp sets, Car Hop Marci that you see here, and Good Times rubber stamp. Only let the good times roll. Let's go ahead, get started. What I have here is a piece of white cardstock that measures 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and we're gonna divide this piece of cardstock to make like kind of like a pavement, but we're gonna make it with like a stone pavement, and then the wall is gonna be with the stars. And my idea for this is to use the stone as kind of like a drive-through window we're going to be making, and then the shop is going to have the star wall. So to make sure that my stencil doesn't move, I'm going to use this magnetic board and some magnets to make sure that my stencil stays in place. Here I'm going to align my stencil exactly where I want it. I am not too worried about the other side of the stencil. You'll see that there's a space there that the stencil doesn't cover, but we're gonna cover that after we do this part of the pavement. And also I am going to grab a piece of masking tape and put exactly where I want my pavement to go to, like the thickness that I wanted, so that way I don't color the other stones. For my pavement, I'm going to be using Hickory Smoke and Weatherwood Distress ink. The Hickory Smoke, I'm going to use it on top of the stencil, and that's going to be the stone. And then the Weatherwood, I'm going to remove my stencil and I'm going to go over the Hickory Smoke, because I want it to look kind of like dirty pavement. So I'm going to speed through this part and I see you at the end. Notice for this part that I am moving my stencil and kind of placing it around the same space of the other stones so I can finish my pavement. For this part, I'm gonna add again my masking paper, this time above my pavement. That way I don't get any of that white cardstock stain with the Weatherwood Distress ink. Now let's work on the star wall. This time I have placed some masking tape at the bottom where the pavement is, and I'm gonna be using squeezed lemonade, spoon sugar, kitsch flamingo, worn lipstick for my wall. I am not worried about the space that's gonna be around it because we're gonna use the worn lipstick to finish the whole border. Our background is done and this is what it looks like. Now with the window die and the canopy die from past release, I have cut in white cardstock both of them, and the window, this is a little modification I just did. I just cut one of the sides because that's gonna be my drive-through window. I'm also going to add color to all of these with the same distress inks and distress oxide that I use for my background. I'm now gonna put my canopy together, but so I can manipulate better this canopy and glue it exactly where I want it on my window, I am gonna glue the canopy to another piece of cardstock, and then I'm just gonna build it there and then cut around it. Now that the canopy is done, we're gonna work on the french fries, the milkshake, and the hamburger. I have cut them in white cardstock and I am coloring all of them with the same distress inks and Copic markers. Make sure that you check in the description box below, all colors are there. I'm using worn lipstick for the fry container. For fries, I am using the squeezed lemonade and wild honey. As I was gluing the french fries, I noticed that I was gonna need way more than this, so I went ahead and cut more, and you will see how it looks after I'm done with it. Here you can see how I added more fries to make my fries look full. So I have color already, the milkshake and the hamburger. Again, all colors in the description box below. Now let's put these together. For my card base, I chose this dark gray cardstock and it measures 6 by 12. I have also cut and colored my truck. All the colors in the description box below. I used Distress Oxide inks. Here is gorgeous Marci. I love how she turned out. Let's go ahead and put it all together. We're gonna set Marci aside for now. And first we're gonna glue our star in a pavement paper. Now we're gonna glue our canopy to the drive-through window, and because I want the canopy to be like this, I'm gonna go ahead and glue it and just cut the excess of the window. Here I'm just figuring out where exactly I want my window. I didn't know if I wanted like really lower maybe, but then I thought my truck is really small and I want to play with perspective here, so I wanted to make sure that Marci, because she looks way bigger than my truck, as you can see here, if I put her in the drive-through window it was not gonna look good, so I decided not to put her in the drive-through window. Actually, I'm putting her outside of the window, like she's on the forefront of the car, because she's the most important right, and for my card. And then the truck I'm gonna put towards the back, so it's like far away from Marci. And I'm only using dimensionals or foam tape for Marci. And this is how my card turned out. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.